It's Games for the Galaxy. Hello and welcome to Games for the Galaxy. I'm Ross Tweets Games and I love video games. Each episode I'll be bringing on a special guest and dropping the absolute bombshell to them that aliens exist. They're going to have to answer a series of questions all about the games that hold a special place in their hearts to help convince our galactic friends that video games are bloody brilliant. This week's special guest is Rachael Camui. Rachael is an excellent Twitch streamer and cosplayer, and also one of the most interesting and lovely people in the gaming content creator space. You're going to learn so much about her in this episode, so I'm going to get straight into it because it's a cracker. Here's episode 9 of Games for the Galaxy. Hi, and welcome to Games for the Galaxy. I'm your host, Ross Tweets Games, and today I am joined by an amazing streamer, cosplayer, and classically trained singer. It's Rachael Camui! Yay!
Hi!
Hello, how are you? Thank you for joining.
I'm good. How are you? I'm doing great. I'm so glad we made this work because the time zone difference is quite different.
Well, it's 8:15 in the evening for me here, and what time is it for you?
It's like noon for me.
Noon. Oh, okay. So you've got the rest of your day to look forward to. My Saturday is nearly done. Yeah. It's nearly over. I'll be sad because the weekend will be one step closer to being finished.
I know.
It's not cool. It's not cool. But for now, it is cool because we've got you here on the podcast. So, Rachael, for anyone who doesn't know you, give us a little short overview of yourself and your content.
Oh, great. Yeah. So I'm Rachael Camui. I have been on the internet since the early days, starting with like AOL. And nice. I used to have websites and what did we have back then? It was like LiveJournal and all this stuff. I had a MySpace, all these things. So I've just always been on the internet, chronically online. But in more recent years, really got into streaming. So I stream. I'm a variety streamer on Twitch, playing mostly RPGs and horror games, but kind of anything, really. Mm-hmm. I'm usually game for anything. And then as Ross said, I am also a classically trained opera singer. I sang opera professionally for over a decade. Wow. And now I actually work in voiceover. So I am a supervising producer of a voiceover studio here in LA and work in the voiceover industry. So I'm a kind of a multifaceted person, but very creative. I think that's the theme that sort of ties everything I do together. I just love creating content. I love creating, and I guess I'll say I'm an amateur cosplayer as well. So I also love cosplay. But yeah, I just love creating. I love connecting with people. And I think that's mostly what I'm about here is just meeting people and you know, expressing my love for different fandoms in whatever way I can. So
amazing. Well, I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, which is King Chrono Gamer. Mm-hmm. And he told me that you speak 5 different languages. Is this true?
I actually speak 8 different languages.
What 8? Wait, what? What 8 languages?
So we'll start with English. I speak English. That's my native language. It's my native language. I'm American, so you know, born and raised in America. And then I have also studied Japanese. I actually majored in Japanese in college, so I speak Japanese probably the best of all my languages. Mm-hmm. And then because of opera, I learned I've sung in a ton of languages, but the ones I could say, like, yes, I could go to this country and interact with people and feel somewhat like I know what I'm doing, would probably be Spanish, Italian, German, French. And then I also do speak Korean and Mandarin Chinese as well. So yeah, that's 7, and then English. So
that's incredible. Like, I can barely speak English, so that is mighty impressive. So
Yeah.
you touched on opera there, helping you learn the languages. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about that. So, what age did you get into sort of opera singing and then being classically trained?
Yeah, I was always a very musical person. That was like
Hmm.
my hobby and what I was most interested in growing up. I started piano when I was 5. And then from there, I was just kind of always in choir and doing theater and drama in school. And I played violin for a while. So I was just really into music
Rachel, what
and
do you
theater.
not do? Is that an easier question to be like, what
Well,
don't you do?
I'm not very athletic, so
Okay.
I was really, really horrible at sports. But in terms of like arts and music, yeah, I was I also can't draw at all. Like
Okay,
if you ask me to
yeah.
draw something, it looks like an 8-year-old.
I'm glad to
drew.
learn you are human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cannot draw, cannot like play soccer, like I
Yeah.
just, yeah, no. But yeah, I was always very musical growing up. But I was actually mostly interested in doing musical theater. That's what I wanted to do. I really wanted to be on Broadway. That was
Amazing.
my dream. My dream was like, I want to be on Broadway.
You're talking to me here because I love musical theatre. You might not think it, but I love it. So I
didn't know that actually, that you love musicals.
we didn't prepare for this, but I want you to give me your top 3 Broadway shows.
Okay, so for me, probably favorite musical of all time is Sweeney Todd.
Oh, okay.
I really like Sondheim, so I like Sondheim's musicals in general. A musical that was really, really influential to me growing up was Rent.
Okay, yeah.
It was really popular at the time that I was growing up, and I saw it at probably too young of an age, but it made an impact on me.
Yeah.
So Rent, and then what's like third? Ooh, Phantom of the Opera was also really influential to me too, because that's like one of the first musicals I saw like on. I went to New York and saw it on Broadway. I think I was like maybe like 10 years old or something, so it was very it was very influential to me at the time to see it. What about you? I'm curious, what are your top 3 musicals?
A new one that you might not have seen, Operation Mincemeat.
No,
I don't know
I
if you've heard of this. Have you heard of it? It's in Broadway now. Okay. Also Hamilton,
Hamilton is great. Hamilton was like rolling around in my head when I came up, when I was thinking. So.
And then probably third, maybe Les Miserables. Yeah.
Les Miserables is so good. I also saw that on Broadway when I was like a teenager, I think. And then, because I used to live near New York, so every now and then my family, we'd go in and see a Broadway show. So that was really special to me.
Broadway's just like amazing. I went a couple years ago and saw Hadestown, which is also another really good one. And also Beetlejuice, and they were both like really good. I love them. I love them.
Yeah.
But enough about me. We shouldn't be talking about me. We should be talking about you.
Sorry, I was just curious. We can nerd out about musicals for the rest of the podcast.
We could. Do you know what? Games for the Galaxy is dead. It's musicals for the Galaxy.
It's a musical podcast now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Why not? Maybe we'll do that one day. We'll do a spin-off and we can just talk about that the whole time. Cool. So we've touched on your classically trained opera side. Now let's change focus to streaming. So when did you start streaming and what was the decision behind that?
Yeah, I started streaming in 2022. So it's been almost 3 years now that I started streaming. I think I'd always kind of wanted to do it, since it had become a thing. And a few years ago, I started trying to do YouTube. I had done I did about 6 videos, not that many, but I quickly got very frustrated by my perfectionism doing the YouTube videos. And I kind of abandoned it, but I had always thought about like trying to make this leap of like being online, creating content, and streaming had just always been something that was like on my radar. And, if I'm being completely honest, the thing that sort of pushed me is I got out of a very long relationship and I was trying to, just find myself again and like do things to be just be more individual, as an individual and not as a couple anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I've always wanted to try streaming. Maybe I'll do that, to try to like fill my time. And I just loved it. Like it clicked for me. I think there's something about just interacting with my community that's there. Just showing, the thing I love about streaming, honestly, is that it's very little prep. I think that's what was kind of slowing me down with the YouTube is I was getting so bogged down in like, oh, I got to make an outline and I got to do this. And then I got to get all this B-roll. And like, I had really good ideas, I think, for my videos, but they were just turning into these very like complex projects that were taking me a long time. And with the streaming, it's like, I set up my camera and my mic, and now I just show up. There's very little. I turn on my lights and I just go. Like I don't have to prep anything. I don't have to, write any dialogue. I can just kind of show up, be myself, and do it. So it's actually worked really, really well for me. And I love it. Like I want to stream like as much as possible, to be honest.
Amazing. So when it comes to the games that you're streaming, do you have a set way of deciding what you're going to do, or is it just what you're playing at the time?
No, I actually like think about it quite a bit. The thing that sort of ties what I stream together is I have never streamed anything that I've played before. So I try to play stuff that is new to me, because I think it's really important to me to be showing like my genuine reaction to a game. Now that might change because some people are like, oh, you should play your favorite game on the stream and talk about it. And I mean, maybe I'll do that as like a fun thing. But the thing that sort of ties it together for me is like, it's new to me. I've never experienced before. And I want people to see my genuine, like first time reaction to a game. I do sometimes try to pick games of the moment, but not always. Sometimes it's just stuff that's like been on my list. Also, I guess sort of a limiting factor is I play all my games on my PC. So it's like what I can play on my PC. I don't have like capture cards and stuff set up. So sometimes that will determine like, oh, this game is Switch only, so I'm not streaming it. But that could change in the future. It's just like my current setup. But otherwise, that's really it. It's just like, have I never played it before? And then I also do sometimes think about like, do I want this game to be just for me?
Oh, I know what you mean.
Do I want to just relax when I'm playing it, or am I cool with it being sort of a shared experience with other people?
Absolutely. No, I get what you mean with that. I always think that horror games are for sharing because you should be scared with me, but some games are personal.
Yes.
I want to keep that for myself.
So I do actually put a lot of thought into it, but I feel the same way about the horror games. Like I love horror games, but I get very scared playing them, and I love it. I love being scared, but it's a lot easier to get through them with a crowd of people.
I agree.
Cheering me on and watching me than like just me sitting alone. Like I remember actually when I was trying to play Dead Space, I would basically, I did not stream Dead Space. This was like back when it came out. And I would play it for like 20 minutes and then I would have to stop because I was like, my heart was racing. I was like, I'll never sleep. I was like, it's 11 p.m. I have to stop now. I was like, I can't keep going or I just will not be able to sleep. And now I streamed the Dead Space remake and it's like, I could go for 3 hours.
Easy. It's easy. Because people are watching. It's fine. But they'll keep you safe. They'll look after you. Yeah. Cool. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is your cosplaying as well, because you're big into cosplay. Gabs, gamer girl Gabs, friend of the podcast, she actually called you her, I think it was cosplay godmother? Was it a cosmother, I think?
Yeah. I think she calls me her like cosmommy or cosmother.
Yes. So tell me a little bit how you got into cosplay, and then also what has been your favorite cosplay that you've done to date?
Great question. So I'm going to age myself on this podcast talking about myself, but I have been cosplaying since 2001.
Wow.
So a long, long time. It was because I was just becoming very aware of the cosplay community. I went to my first convention in 2001. It was a small convention in Florida, but it just like changed my mind. Like I love conventions and I love the convention scene. I feel like you just meet so many people. Everybody is just it's such a safe space. Like that's what I like about it, is like everybody is just so like open and free to just be their nerdy selves. You know, that's like the best thing about cons for me. And so I met and saw a lot of cosplayers at this convention, and I just was like blown away. Like to this day, one of my friends actually that I met at that con, he was cosplaying Kefka from Final Fantasy VI, and I just was like, oh my god, like it literally like I was freaking out to like see my favorite character, you know, like, or see a character I really loved like in front of me, and like the craftsmanship and just like the cosplay community. You know, there is some drama sometimes, but for the most part, it's a really, really welcoming, friendly community. So yeah, for me, it was like going to a convention and seeing other cosplayers, and then I was just like, I want to do that. I want to make costumes, and I want to take photos, and I want to meet people. So at the time, I used my mom to help me, and you know, she taught me sewing. Actually, my mom is who taught me how to sew, and we would go to, you know, RIP Joanne Fabrics, but we would go to like Joanne Fabrics is a store here in the US that would sell, you know, materials and things like that for sewing and crafts and stuff. It literally just closed. I don't know what I'm going to do now. But we'd go like pick out the fabrics, you know, I do a lot of planning of the outfits and stuff like that. And my very first cosplay was a Moogle from Final Fantasy.
Classic.
Yes.
Good place to start.
But you asked what my favorite cosplay was. I think my favorite cosplay, or at least the one I was most proud of, is I cosplayed Symmetra from Overwatch.
Amazing.
Back when Overwatch was really, really popular. I know it's a little bit iffy now, but
but back at
you know,
back at the time,
and that cosplay was the first time I ever worked with foam and lights. I had like aspects of the costume that lit up to really try to you know, because her costume's very glowy, and she's got like these like triangle things that she holds in her hand and stuff. So I had like lights in my hand that would kind of like shine up, and I had her gun, and also I made like all the armor pieces out of foam, and it was the first time I'd done it. So it was to me kind of like indicative of me sort of like leveling up my skills.
Yeah.
And so I think Symmetra, probably my like favorite cosplay. Although this day I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever wear it again. But at the time I was really, really proud of it. So.
Do you keep all the cosplays that you've ever done?
I keep most of them, although every few years I kind of go through and I'll say, like, realistically, how do I feel about this fandom? Like, am I going to wear this again? I do clear some of them out. Like, I think recently I did get rid of the Symmetra cosplay because I was kind of like, my time with Overwatch has ended.
The journey's come to an end.
Yes, but I think I kept like certain parts of it. Like I kept her headpiece because, like, again, I kind of like crafted the whole thing, and I think it looks really cool. So I kept the headpiece, and I have it like it's actually on a like a mannequin head. Okay, because that's the best way to store it, to be honest. But I kept that as sort of like the memento of the cosplay, but I got rid of the rest of it. So.
Amazing, cool. Now, Rachel, I've got another question for you. I didn't prepare you for this one. So sorry if it's, you know, a bit personal, but do you believe that aliens exist?
Yes, I do. It is a bit personal to reveal that, but I do believe. I do believe aliens exist. I think it's a bit egotistical or narcissistic of humans to assume we're the only life in the galaxy, you know? So I do actually think that there's aliens out there. I personally think it might be in a form that like our brains can't even comprehend what it is. You know what I mean?
So you don't think they're like necessarily humanoid, They might just be like,
no,
they could be
not
just
necessarily.
energy or just like a ball of light
could
or
be
something.
anything, really. Yeah, but I definitely believe aliens exist.
Amazing. Yeah. Do you think that they're on Earth with us, or do you think that they're yet to get here?
I don't think they're here yet.
No.
I don't. I think that's wishful thinking when people think that. I don't think they're here yet, but I do think they're out there, and
They're
I
out
think
there,
maybe they'll.
yeah.
I think they might find us before we find them.
Do you reckon? Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I feel like we got to the moon. We got our telescopes, but we're not really doing much, are we? Like in terms of,
we're not really.
I say that like I know. I don't know. We could be doing a lot. I don't know. Actually, I do know. I do know that aliens do exist, and not only do they exist, but they've abducted you, Rachel. How do you feel?
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, I feel completely unaware, so they're doing a great job.
Maybe they are the kind that you can't comprehend.
Yeah.
No, you have been abducted. You're currently sitting in a UFO up in outer space. Yeah, I tell you what's happened, okay, is that they have like these projection like rooms. So it makes it look like your room so that you're not, scared. You still think you're on Earth, but you have been abducted. I'm going to tell you why you've been abducted, okay?
Oh, okay.
So these aliens that have abducted you, they're really friendly, so do not be scared.
That's good.
But they're just like us. They are humanoids. They're just like us, and they have everything that we do on their planets apart from video games. They have never heard of video games. They've never seen them. They have never played them. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, Rachel, but aliens actually love opera.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they absolutely can't get enough of it, and they've sort of seen all the operas on their planet, so they've started to come to Earth. And the last time that they were on Earth, they saw an opera, and during the break, during the intermission, someone pulled out a Nintendo Switch 2, just brand new one. They were just sort of showing it off to people in the audience, and the aliens were like, "What is that? We have never seen anything like this before." So they want to know more about video games. So they decided the best way to learn about video games is finding someone with a love for not only opera, because they love that, but also video games, and ask them a series of questions all about the games that mean the most to them so that they can learn about video games. And the first question that they want to ask you, Rachel, because you have been abducted by them, is, what is the first game you remember playing?
Okay, so I just want to say before I get started, what you're telling me is I was wrong. Aliens are here on Earth, and they are humanoid.
Yeah, you were completely wrong.
Completely wrong.
You sounded batshit crazy. They're real.
Oh my gosh. All right, so I'll tell you about the first game I remember playing. It's a core memory of mine, actually. The first game I remember playing is The Legend of Zelda on the Nintendo, the original NES.
Yeah.
With my dad.
Amazing.
And it's actually why the podcast listeners will not be able to see this, but it's actually why I have this Triforce tattoo on my arm. Because my dad, we had an NES growing up. We used to just call it a Nintendo. That's what you called it, because there was only one at the time. There was only one Nintendo. So, and we had a couple games for it. I think we had the Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt. I think we had Top Gun. We had Zelda. We might have had a couple other ones, but like those are like the three I definitely remember. I was very young. I was 3 years old. But it's one of my first memories, to be honest, is my dad would come home from work and he would boot up Zelda, and my sister and I would sit there with him and he would play, the game, and we would lay out the map and take notes of where the dungeons were and things like that. And it was a very special experience for me. It was like a really, a real bonding experience, for me and my dad. It's just one of my core, like I said, core memories. And it just reminds me of my family.
Oh, amazing.
So I became a huge Zelda fan because of this, to be honest. But yeah, honestly, I play games because of my dad. So
Amazing. So you said that you were about 3 when you first sort of played it. So your dad, I'm guessing your dad played it and you sort of helped
yeah,
him.
he mostly played it and we sat and watched, but it was definitely, I consider it playing because we were really involved, and he would, I think at times I would hold the controller and things like that, but I'm sure I didn't get very far. I was like 3, 4, 5 years old, it's like it wasn't like I was beating the game by myself, but
have you gone back since then and beaten the game by yourself?
yes, actually, I would say every couple of years I go back and beat Legend of Zelda because it's pretty easy now at this point. I can beat it in like 2 days.
Still that you made.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but at the time they gave you, a manual and a map, but the map only had like a portion of the map that they gave you. So you would have to discover most of the world on your own. And so what we had done as a family is we had actually taken like paper and like drawn out the different squares and kind of like pieced this whole map together with tape. And so it was really, it was a whole thing that we did as a family.
I feel like that's something we've lost these days, because now you can just go on the internet and just go Zelda map and there it is. But that's part of gaming too. And that's a great memory, you and your dad. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
What game made you cry the most, Rachel? Do you cry at games a lot?
Oh, I cry all the time. I cry like the littlest things make me cry. I always cry at game shows, like anything. What game made me cry the most? Probably Final Fantasy 14.
Okay, interesting.
Which is an interesting answer, I know.
I've not played Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah,
so...
I mean, it's an MMO.
Yeah.
And I never really would have expected to say the story of an MMO is the one that made me cry the most. But, it's at this point, I think it's like 300 plus hours of story in that game. So maybe it's a bit cheating to say that because it's a very long game,
right?
With a lot of opportunities for crying. But I just think the story in that game is one of the most emotional stories I've ever experienced in a game. It's just a very like epic lore based story that kind of just spans like, I don't know, like a whole like eons, dimensions. Like it's very complex, but it's also incredibly emotional. And that's why actually I was so excited for that team to be working on other games, because I was like, oh, they really know how to do like emotional storytelling. But I think almost tied for that spot is actually FF7 Rebirth. Ooh, I felt similarly about FF7 Rebirth. That game made me cry like so much. I just felt like it was so emotional. Like overall, those two games I think are like two of the most emotional games I've ever played. So
Final Fantasy basically gets, any Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and then, I mean, I'm still going down the list. I'm like, oh, FF10 made me cry, but really only in select moments. But like it was, it's also an amazing game with emotional storytelling. So yeah, Final Fantasy always kind of knocks it out of the park, I think.
Yeah. Just getting back to Final Fantasy 14. So when you were playing it, did you mostly play it solo, or did you have a crew of people that you played it with? Did you share in the tiers?
Yeah, so I do have like a small group of people, actually my friends in real life that I play it with, and we all kind of got into it during the pandemic.
Okay.
So that's when I started playing it. I know the game's been out for a while, but I got into it during the pandemic. We were looking for something to play together. And we were on Discord every day and things like that. And a friend of ours had been playing 14 and she was like, you guys should really try this game. And we did. And now it's like one of my favorite games of all time. But I play it mostly with my sister, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she and I we'll watch each other play it and get emotional over the game. So.
Amazing.
Or like, we get to certain key moments or certain key fights and I'll text her and I'll be like, we literally don't even use a full sentence. We just say, I'm on.
Yeah.
And we know what that means.
Yeah.
Like I'm on.
It's go time. Yeah.
Or like want to do this this fight, you know, or whatever, and like that's it. And then we'll usually get together and like do very key moments of the story together. I remember actually she was way ahead of me in the story, and she would watch me go through certain emotional moments. She loved it. She was eating it up. She was like watching me cry and like freak out, and so yeah, I think my sister. It's like I always go back to playing with my sister. So.
That's incredible. I love that because obviously your first answer was with your dad and your sister, and then this one being your sister. Like I love that it's been kept in the family.
Mm-hmm.
What is a game you didn't think you'd like, but you ended up loving it?
Maybe Helldivers.
Okay, Helldivers 2.
Yeah, Helldivers 2. I've just played a lot of that game, and I didn't really expect to get super into it.
Yeah.
I do like shooter games, but usually I kind of play shooters with friends, and then I kind of move on. But actually, I have a better answer.
Okay, go on then. We'll put
Marvel
Helldivers.
Rivals.
Oh yes,
Marvel Rivals is the game I did not expect to get into.
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to play it.
Right, tell me then. So who convinced you, and what was it about Marvel Rivals that you went, do you know what? This is good.
Honestly, I think it was our mutual friend, King Chrono, who got me. Yeah, he convinced me to play it. And I think it was a couple people, you know, in our mutual friend group, I think were playing it. I think Gabs was playing it, and people were kind of trying it out. But I do tend to get swept in if the friend group is playing a game, I will try it out, you know.
Absolutely.
And not every game is for me. You know, some of the games that people have settled on in the friend group are not really for me, but I'll play it anyway because I just want to hang with everybody. But yeah, Marvel Rivals, it was kind of like that. It was like it came out. I wasn't going to play it. It was free, but I still was like, I don't know. This isn't really a game for me. I like Marvel, but I'm not like obsessed with Marvel. I like Overwatch, but I kind of was feeling like I'm over Overwatch. I don't need to play that type of game anymore. And I remember actually even saying to my roommate, I think playing this game would just make me want to play Overwatch.
Right.
You know? Like thinking it's like a worse Overwatch
just
or something.
A clone,
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a clone of Overwatch. And then I started playing it with the friends. You know, it was free, so I just hopped on. And then I think I've put in like probably over 100 hours on the game.
It's so addictive.
I started, you know, picking my mains, and like every night I would like get on and be like, okay, we're on the game, let's go, you know. And I was doing competitive and like, so Marvel Rivals, actually, that's my answer, because that is a game I did not intend to play at all, and then now I love it. I think it's super fun. I'm really into it.
Completely obsessed with it for like 2 months. Like I feel like I'm on the other side of it now, but I was obsessed. Like I was going to bed like hearing the ultimate calls in my mind. Like, it was just one of those things that it just seemed like everyone was playing. It felt like a moment. And it's really good. And as you say, I remember seeing a trailer for it and I was like, oh, Marvel are doing an Overwatch clone. Like, okay, you know, I like Marvel, I'll play it, but it's not going to be anything. I was like, it'll be like a week of like fun like gameplay, and then everyone will be like, no, this isn't it, and it will be dead. But my God, it was good. It was good. So who was your main?
My main, actually, I think Sue Storm is kind of who I settled on. So I tend to play a lot of the support characters in that game. Tend to play support in general in most games I'm in, but I really liked Sue Storm's kit. And then the first character I played was Mantis, and I kind of went back to her and was getting pretty good with her after the fact. So mostly Sue Storm, and then I think if I had to play DPS, I was playing mostly Psylocke, a couple other people, but Psylocke is kind of who I'd like lock in with a lot. I liked kind of not being on the front line. That's usually my like mode of playing is like I like kind of sneaking around or being in the back line or being support. That's kind of like how I like to play in games. So if a character did that, that's pretty much what I was
You'd be
playing.
like, yeah, they're mine. I can deal with that. Yeah. Amazing. It's a great game. I love it.
Yeah, it really is.
What game is terrible but you love it anyway? So it might be critically panned, or other people are like, I don't like this, but you're like, no, this is actually really good.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure there's a lot. I definitely don't tend to align with a lot of people's opinions on games, I think. But the one that kind of sticks out to me, and maybe it's just because I remember reading reviews for this game, you know, it's a PS2 game, so it's been out for a long time, but it came out, I think, firmly in the era of like, you know, Game Informer and like PC Gamer and all these like magazines and IGN and stuff that would do all these reviews either online or in magazines. And I mean, we still have reviews today, but I feel like back then it was like very, like you read the review and like you would just know if you're going to get the game or not. And this game was panned by reviewers, I think, but it is actually, I think, one of my favorite games, and it's Gauntlet Dark Legacy on the PS2.
Right.
It's like a 4-player, how do I explain this game? It's like 4 players and it's kind of like a dungeon,
crawler?
I don't know. Like it's like an explory kind of action game. It's top down.
Yeah.
I think it started as an arcade game. Like the original Gauntlet was like an arcade game. But it's really basic. Like it's not a complex game at all, but you're just kind of going, it's kind of like Diablo, I guess, where it's like you're just kind of like going through a game, collecting loot, killing monsters, hitting the same button to kill them over and over and over again. And it's really simplistic.
Okay.
And I think honestly, to my memory, like reviewers were like, this game sucks. But like for me, it's like it's a game I put like hundreds of hours in. Like I just had so much fun playing it, and it's super fun with people.
Yeah, so it's a multiplayer game. So I'm guessing
a multiplayer game.
You can play it single player, but it's
you can play it single player, but I think it's more fun with other people. Up to 4 people can play it, and you're just kind of exploring, going through dungeons and collecting loot. Yeah, it's not super deep, but it's just something about it is just a very charming, fun experience.
Okay, so you said that you saw the review in like a magazine and it got panned. Had you seen the review before you got it, or was it something that you bought and then seen? Like, did you get it for a birthday, or did you?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't remember if I saw the review first. And I also don't know why I bought
why
the
you
game.
Got it.
Maybe it's like I had played the game with somebody else, like at a friend's house or something, and then I was like, "Oh, I love this, so I'm going to buy it." I think that's why I got it. And I probably did see the review after the fact because I think it was just I had the experience first, and then I remember I very vividly remember being like, "Oh, everybody hates this game, but I love it."
So I do find that sometimes with games, like you'll play it and you'll go, this is really good, and then you'll see someone go, this is bad, and you go, okay, I don't agree.
Like, am I wrong?
Am I wrong, or are you wrong? I don't know. Are we allowed to have different opinions? Have you played it recently?
It's been a while since I played it because it is PS2 and I don't have my PS2 hooked up.
Okay.
But I think there's been other iterations of Gauntlet since then, but I don't think they were as good. For something, it's the one on the PS2 that really
just
I was like,
sticks out.
This is the formula that works for me.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, I've not heard of the Gauntlet series. So I'll have to have a look, and I will also look at some of the reviews, and I'll go, nope, the only one that matters is Rachel's, and she said it's good.
Gabby's actually played it. We found out independently,
really?
Like she had played it, and she loves it too. And she was
there we go.
"Oh, you like this game?" She thought I was making fun of her, and I was like, "No, I actually really love this game."
So you're shared in that opinion. Yeah, look, you two must be correct. Like that's what I'm getting from this.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Absolutely. What games scared you the most? Do you get scared at games a lot?
Oh yeah, I definitely get scared in games. What game scared me the most? Overall, probably the original Dead Space is
Like
what
we
scared
talked
me
about
the
earlier,
most.
20-minute.
We did
20-minute
talk about Dead
boosts,
Space.
yeah.
It's in there. It's like it's still haunting me to this day. You know, I think I played it in like 2012, and it's like it's still in there. But yeah, the original Dead Space, I think overall,
Yeah.
just like throughout the game, just did such a good job of like kind of that sense of dread and fear, and like every time you see like a hole in a wall, you're just like, what's going to come out of this hole?
Absolutely.
You know? So like I just remember that experience being very tense for me. And again, I played it alone, so it was like extra, like it was just super, super heightened. And I would actually, though, say the scariest moment for me in a game is Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village.
Yeah.
There is this section in there where you're sort of in like this house.
Oh, what's the name of it?
And there's a baby.
Yeah.
Did you play this game?
Yeah. I played it. I am trying to remember what the name of the house is called.
I can't remember. It was like an Italian name or something, wasn't it? Like it was like an Italian family name. I'm not even going to attempt
it because I'll probably offend someone.
I can't remember the name of the house either. But that baby sequence was just so terrifying. Like something about it was so terrifying for me. Like I have never been more terrified in a game, and that really shocked me because, in general, I don't find Resident Evil that scary. It's like I mean, there's moments, but yeah, that moment, I was just like, holy crap. I don't think I've ever been more scared when that baby is like chasing you. Like,
it's horrifying.
Get me out of here.
I think the worst thing about it is that it takes all your weapons away, so you can't shoot, right? So you're just going through it. There's nothing you can do. You can run away.
Yeah, and you have to like hide, and you have to like go up under the bed at one point.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah, I think as I say, any other time during that game, you're like, it's fine. I can shoot it in the face. Whatever it is, it can jump out at me, but I can shoot it in the face. But that you cannot. It's called House. Sorry if I pronounce this wrong. House Beneviento.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I definitely remembered it. I was like, it's an Italian name or something. So.
Yeah. No, that's a great moment. I actually played it in VR as well, which is also terrifying.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure that was extra scary.
I think if I had done it first time in VR, I don't think I'd be here because I think I would have had a heart attack and died. But because I knew what was going to happen, it was slightly less scary, but still scary enough.
Yeah.
You know. No, that's a great moment. That whole section is excellent. I can't wait for Resident Evil 9 Requiem.
Oh, I know. I'm so excited.
I hope there's more moments like that in it.
Yeah.
Or do I? I'm not sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Rachel, what game means the most to you? So it doesn't have to be your favorite game, but the memories around playing it make it really special.
I mean, I feel like I'm going to call back to Zelda again with this. But probably The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Okay.
I'm a big Zelda gamer, obviously, because we all heard my first story. You know, it's just I think
you got the tat.
So when A Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past came out, I actually don't think I got it right when it came out, but I remember. So I moved around a lot as a kid, and my family had just moved to a new house. And we had barely set up the house, basically everything was not even fully moved in. I think all our furniture was there, but nothing was unpacked. And my dad came home from the store with a Super Nintendo, and it came with, I think, Super Mario All-Stars.
Yeah.
And then Super Mario World. And then he had bought The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. So we had these 3 new games and the Super Nintendo. And I think it was my dad's way of being like, hey, kids, go in the basement and just play video games while we work on, the adults work on unpacking and setting up the house.
Absolutely. Keep you entertained. Like
yeah. It was like, keep you guys entertained. But, for me and my sister, we were just like, oh my gosh, another Zelda game. This is so great. Yeah. We were best day ever. I think I was 8. So at this point I was a little older, but I my sister and I right away, my dad set it up for us, plugged it in. We started playing Zelda. And over the next like 2 to 3 years, my sister and I played that game together.
Amazing. Yeah.
And, we were kids, so it took us a while to get through it. But we did eventually beat it. And I just fondly remember playing that game with my sister.
Oh, amazing.
Trying to solve the puzzles. We would get stuck at times. I think, at one point we tried to call, back then you could like call a hotline to like ask for tips on the game. I think we convinced my dad to like let us do that at like one point because we were super stuck. So yeah, it was just like a really fond memory. And, I would play that game, and I'm thinking back, it's like, I think over the course of us beating that game, I lived in 3 different places.
Wow. And
so it was just like the one constant thing, it kind of amidst a very like chaotic living situation.
Yeah.
And secondarily, I think, when the N64 came out and we got Ocarina of Time, my sister and I did the same thing with that game. So really for me, it was like those 2 Zelda games really were just like what we did, during our childhood. And those I think are probably the most special games to me. Just because they were like the comfort.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Does your sister, does she still play Zelda as well? Has she played all the new ones? Do you play them at the same time and talk about them?
Yeah. She's still a big gamer.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely more, it's not a competition, but I think I'm more in the gaming space than she is.
Yeah.
But she definitely still plays games. Like I think she spent the better part of last year playing Baldur's Gate.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's still a big gamer, but I'm the one with like the huge game collection and things like that. But it is something we still talk about and share. And we actually both discussed, neither of us picked up the Switch 2.
Right.
And it's because there's no Zelda yet. So
this is it, because my girlfriend, she loves Zelda, and she was like, should we get the Switch 2? And I was like, there's no Zelda on it yet. You're not going to play it, because she just loves Zelda. I was like, we'll wait until there's a Zelda, and then we'll get the Switch 2.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I'll get it eventually, but right now I'm like, there's no Zelda, so what's the point?
What's the point? You can keep your Mario Kart. We want Zelda. What video game character do you have a crush on, Rachel?
Oh my God. This is gonna like out me. No, I have a lot of video game crushes, but probably... Let me pick one.
You can have some honorable mentions as well.
Okay,
but
honorable mentions.
I want one ultimate video game boyfriend.
So my weakness is I really like villains.
Okay,
I really like villain characters. I just think they're the most interesting.
You can
like
change
they're
them.
usually very that must be it, right?
Yeah.
Like they're very complex. And I've always been drawn to villains. Even as a kid, like before I was into video games, when I was watching Disney movies, my favorite characters were the villains.
Right.
So probably the character I have a few, but we'll go with Emmett Selk from Final Fantasy XIV. He's a major villain in that game, but also a very complex villain. Yeah, I think I could change him.
Yeah.
That's why.
You can do it. Yeah.
But I mean, I also really like probably a more popular villain that a lot of people know. I really like Sephiroth.
Yeah.
He's been a crush for a long time. He's just pretty, and I like his like tortured background. Like I think when you really look at it, it's like he has a reason why he's so pissed off.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good reason, but
But again, you can change him.
Yeah, exactly. And if I'm gonna pick a non-villain character, I really like Geralt from The Witcher.
Yeah. I mean, what a guy. Wind's howling, right?
Yeah, but I definitely am into the characters that are very, I don't know, like tortured or more silent. The silent kind of, like gruff.
Yeah.
Like very, very Geralt. That's the type of character I'm usually most drawn to. I don't know what that says about me. My therapist probably has a lot to say about that. But it's like the types of fictional characters I like are usually the ones that are more I don't know, reserved
Right.
and kind of
You like a quiet
some
bad
sort
boy.
of
That's it.
yeah,
Isn't it?
quiet bad boy.
Yeah.
That's the way.
We've
That's
nailed
the way
it
to
down
describe
there.
it. Yeah.
One quiet bad boy for Rachel, please.
Yes.
What video game have you replayed the most?
It's got to be a Final Fantasy or something. You know, I do tend to restart Final Fantasy games a lot, and then I don't know if I always finish them.
Right.
But like I've definitely restarted Final Fantasy 8 a few times, Final Fantasy 10 a few times, 7, 6 I've definitely played quite a bit. Final Fantasy 6 I played a lot. So I would say it's either a Zelda or a Final Fantasy. Those are the ones I tend to replay.
Have you played every single Final Fantasy and every single Zelda? Have you got any like blind spots that you've not played yet?
Oh, yeah. So for Zelda, I think I've played them all. I might not have beaten them all. There is a weird blind spot for me, which is I have never beaten Skyward Sword.
Okay. Yeah.
But I did play it, and then for I think whatever reason, I don't know. I think that era of like the Wii and Wii U, I was getting really annoyed with the motion controls.
Yeah.
And I know they made them a little better in Skyward Sword, but I think I was just over it.
Yeah.
So I think like at this point, there's an HD version of Skyward Sword that has more traditional controls.
I think they remade it or remastered it for the Switch recently, and I think they gave you the option if you wanted to do motion controls, but you didn't have to. So maybe that could be your like time to go back in.
Yeah, I probably should go back and beat Skyward Sword. There's a couple of Zeldas I know I haven't finished or I haven't beaten, but Skyward Sword is the one for me where I'm like, it's kind of a mainline Zelda. I really should beat it. But most of them, I think I've played almost all of them.
Yeah.
And even some of the side ones, like Four Swords Adventures and the Hyrule Warriors and stuff. I've played some of the side games as well. For Final Fantasy, I definitely haven't played them all.
Okay.
I have never played Final Fantasy 2, which I've heard is maybe the worst one.
Maybe you're not missing much then. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I've always kind of meant to go back and play it. And then I have only played about 4 hours of Final Fantasy 15.
Okay.
So I've always meant to go back and play 15 as well. That was another game that I just kind of started, and then I don't know, I just kind of lost the motivation or something else came out and I just got distracted. I've heard it's pretty good, but I just never kind of went back to it.
I always look at it and I think I should play it because I'm quite new to the Final Fantasy games, but I just really like that aesthetic of the road trip. I'm always like, I can't have gone on a road trip, and that would be really cool, but I just never have got around to playing it. So that could be one that you should maybe visit as well. So you need to do Skyward Sword and Final Fantasy 15.
Final Fantasy 15.
Put them on your list.
Yeah, that's 2025. I'll beat them both.
Get rid of those blind spots.
Yep.
Now, Rachel, we don't like to be too negative on the podcast, but what's the worst game you've ever played?
The worst game? Oh, God. This is a weird answer, but it's a recent one.
Oh, okay.
It's a game that I just walked away from in not a very long period of time. So that's why it sticks out to me. So maybe my review isn't fair, but the Callisto Protocol I thought was quite bad.
Yes, this is the...
I thought it was quite bad.
Is this the one from the Dead Space, like, original team? And it's a bit like that.
It kind of looks like Dead Space, and I was very excited about it because I really like Dead Space. I really like horror games. And I think after about an hour and a half of playing it, I just went, no, I don't like this at all. I don't like this experience. And I just, I walked away. So that might be maybe I don't know if that feels mean to say it's the worst game I ever played.
Yeah.
But
I know what you mean.
I don't often like walk away from games in that sort of way.
Yeah.
Usually I'm pretty, I know what I like at this point. So usually when I go into a game, I'm kind of like, at least going to see it through for a large number of hours. You know, I mean, sometimes the ADD takes over and I don't finish a game, but at least I'll feel like, oh no, I put in like 20 hours or 40 hours and I have a good sense of what the game is about. But for Callisto Protocol, it was like the controls were just so bad.
Right. Was it just
I just
janky?
could not get. Yeah, it was very janky, and to me, it was a game that just made me feel like I just want to play Dead Space.
Right. Yeah.
It was what we were talking about with the Marvel Rivals, where I was like, you know, you think maybe, oh, it's just going to make me want to play Overwatch, and then it didn't. It's like this game, I just thought this is a bad it's just a bad Dead Space.
Yeah. Was it that it just inherently wasn't interesting as well? Because I always find with horror games, like you said earlier, you might play 20 minutes, but there's something about it. There's something about the atmosphere and the aesthetic that you, even though you're scared, you want to keep going. But with this one, was it just like, it's just not good? Like,
I wasn't really, there wasn't anything really keeping me there, you know, like, so yeah, the story and the narrative and everything, it wasn't super interesting enough. So it was a big disappointment for me because it was a game that I was really looking forward to, you know, and I kind of just went, no, not for me.
Not
and
you.
then, you know, you go out on the internet and you see everybody else kind of saying the same thing. And I was like, oh, okay, I feel justified.
I'm okay in this. Well, I always think this question is a bit tricky to answer. So I'm absolutely fine with, instead of it being the worst game you've ever played, it's maybe the most disappointing game you've ever played.
Yeah, it was definitely disappointing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I think about worst games, I'm kind of like, what was really, really bad? I mean, to be honest, I think even I don't know. I love video games, so I usually try to find something
that you like.
You know, like even if it's not a game for me, or that's usually what happens more. Is like it's just a game where I'm like, yeah, it's just not really for me, but I can see why people like it. You know, like that's usually my opinion.
But with this one, shit.
This one, I just was like, oh, this just didn't get finished.
Didn't hit the mark.
Yeah.
Amazing. Now, this is a tricky one, but on the other, like flipping the coin a little bit here, what is objectively the best video game ever?
Objectively, oh gosh, I'm thinking of my top games here, and I do personally feel like my list is very biased. So I don't know if I'd say objectively. So if I'm going to pick a game that I think is objectively one of the best video games ever made, meaning like across the board, everything is like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say a Zelda game. So, although I will say that I think like Ocarina of Time, legitimately one of the best games ever made, just because everything about it is really, really, really solid. But I think my two, I'm going to give you two answers.
Okay.
I think God of War 2018.
Yes.
Surprising, maybe from me, because I'm a big RPG gamer, but I just think God of War, especially this God of War, just did everything right. The gameplay feels incredible. Like you feel like a badass and you feel super powerful when you're playing. The puzzles, the action, like everything about the gameplay, I just think is solid. And like the pacing of the gameplay, like what you're doing at different times, it's just so well crafted. And the story, obviously, the narrative, I think is excellent. The environment, like everything about, for me, everything about that game is just like 10 out of 10.
I do not disagree. It is just, as you say, every element of that game, I can't give you a negative of the 2018 one.
Right.
It's just,
and for me, that game is like the full full package.
Absolutely.
You know,
agree.
and I would say like the games that I would say are the best or my favorite, I can see that there's flaws in those games. Whereas like when I look at God of War 2018, I'm just like, I don't really see the flaws. Like it's just a really good game overall and really well made. And honestly, to me was surprising because I liked the God of Wars originally, but this one, it's definitely just like in my top 10.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And then I had a second answer for this. Oh, BioShock.
Oh, yes.
BioShock
Good
is
answer
the other answer.
Yeah.
Where I would say same thing. It's just like every element in that game is just really, really solid. the atmosphere, the music, like the dialogue, the story. I mean, the story is amazing.
Yeah.
Like the story still haunts me like to this day, you know, and like the gameplay is super solid. I mean, I see people playing it now, and it's a game that came out in like 2007, and it's like it holds up, you know. I mean, it's still just as good.
I was late to it,
some of the games coming out today. And you know, at the time, I mean, I was gaming back then, you know, so I definitely remember when it came out, and it just pushed the medium forward so much. There are so many things in games now that are because of BioShock, like because BioShock did it first. And it's just an incredible game.
Amazing. Both of those answers, absolutely incredible. Usually what I do when people give me two is I choose one. But I'm not going to. I think you can have both of them because you're right.
Oh, yay.
You're just right. I can't argue.
I mean, you said objectively,
exactly.
right? So I kind of went from like objectively these two games.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing.
I think every gamer should play those two games.
Completely agree. Yeah, completely agree. Rachael Camui, you have been an incredible guest. But before the aliens put you back down to Earth, they want you to give them one video game. Now, this video game, they're going to take back to their home planet. They're going to share it around, and everyone on their home planet is going to play their first video game. What video game are you going to give them?
Oh, my gosh. I feel weird because we went through this whole podcast and I never talked about my favorite video game. But I also feel like it's not a game for everybody. So I feel like if I give it to the aliens, I'm trying to like decide if they'll appreciate it or not. I mean, maybe they're evolved enough that they can appreciate the greatness.
Yeah.
So I think my answer to this question is my actual like number one video game of all time, which is Xenogears.
Amazing. Okay.
PS1 RPG. I think if you follow me on socials, you know I love this game because all I do is I'm still tweeting about this game. It's become like a cult. I think the people who really like Xenogears really, really like it. But you know, Xenogears is the original like Xeno game, and I think these days most people know the Xenoblade franchise.
Yes.
So Xenogears is the first kind of game in that franchise. It was a Square RPG at the time, and now most of that dev team is at Monolith Soft. So they all left Square and formed their own studio, including the main creator. So if you enjoy the Xenoblade games, I think you'd find something to love in Xenogears. It's definitely a flawed game, though, which is why I couldn't really say that it's maybe the best game ever made. But for me, it's my favorite. It's super complex. It has everything in a game that I love. It has really, really great narrative storytelling. And in fact, that's the most compelling aspect of the game, I think, is the story. It's a sci-fi RPG, which there's not that many sci-fi games. I think we get a lot of fantasy, but this one's very, very sci-fi. Again, it's a very like epic, like eon spanning story. It's very philosophical and psychological at its core. There's a lot of like Jungian psychology in the game, which is really interesting. There's a lot of religious imagery in the game. It's a very like adult RPG.
Okay.
Let me put it that way. It's very intellectual. It's very cerebral. And at the same time, though, like the combat's super fun. You get a mech and you get to like do mech combat, which I love mechs. And there's the characters are super complex and interesting. And it has that great like PS1 RPG turn-based feel to it. You got the big world map. The music's amazing. I mean, just everything about it. I mean, the game really like shifted my mindset when I played it as a teenager. And I've never played another RPG like it. I've never played another game like it. I think it's like a one of a kind experience. If you don't really like reading, though, it's not the game for you.
Okay, a lot of text.
But it's a lot of text,
Yeah.
but the story is just incredible. Like one of the best stories in gaming ever told. So I think I would spread the good word of Xenogears
Do it.
to the aliens.
Well, you know what? You've convinced me, so I think the aliens will enjoy it. So I think that's a good answer. Rachel, before we go, tell us how we can follow you. What days do you stream? How can we see your cosplay? All that good stuff.
Great. Yeah. So I'm Rachael Camui on socials everywhere. I'm pretty much on every platform. The only platform I'm not on right now is TikTok, but that might be changing. So I'm sure soon you will find me on TikTok as well. But yes, I'm on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube. I'm even on like Threads and some of the other lesser ones. I don't post there as often, but I am Rachael Camui everywhere. I'm also Rachael Camui on Twitch. When I go live, I mean, I wish I had a schedule because I have a full-time job. It's kind of like I stream when I can, but I usually always post on socials when I'm planning on going live. So probably the best way to know when I stream is follow me on social media. And generally, I tend to stream in the evenings, Pacific time, just because that's what works with my work schedule. So generally, I'm starting in the evenings. So great for night owls everywhere. Or I guess if you're, in Asia, it'll be bright and early in the morning.
Or here in the UK, bright and early in the morning.
And here in the UK as well. I mean, I feel like I'll get a couple of UK people in my streams and they're like, it's 4 in the morning. And I'm just like, oh, okay. But, I mean, there's people always watching everywhere. So yeah, just generally in the evenings, PST. And yeah, I'm pretty active. I'm definitely making a big push to stream more.
Amazing.
So yeah, I'm always available.
And cosplay on Instagram, I'm gonna guess.
Oh yeah, my cosplay I primarily share on my Instagram. I will usually post out new cosplays on my social, but yeah, if you want to check through my cosplay history, most of it's on my Instagram. And I do have a cosplay group with my sister, although it's kind of defunct now, but it is called Tsukiyami Cosplay. We also have an Instagram page with our group cosplays. Tsuki, Tsuki, Yami, Yami cosplay. So
amazing.
Gabby and I need a name now because Gabby and I are doing kind of a cosplay duo thing. I think we need to create a little page for our group cosplays.
Amazing. Rachel, thank you so much for joining. We're going to pop you back down onto Earth now, but it has been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, no, I kind of enjoyed my time with the aliens, so I think I'm happy to stay if they want to have me. So.
Maybe they'll abduct you again in the future, and they'll have more questions for you. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
So that was episode 9 of Games for the Galaxy. Massive thank you to Rachael Camui. She was just an absolute joy to talk to, so make sure you go find her links in the episode information and show her lots of support. Also, if you'd like to extend some of that support to me, that would be great. Rate the show, leave a comment, or best yet, share it with someone you think will enjoy this silly little podcast about aliens and games. You can follow me on Blue Sky at ross.tweets.games and on Twitter at rosstweetsgames. I'll see you next week for the final episode of Season 1. I know, I can't believe it either, but an amazing guest lined up, so I'm really excited to announce that. But for now, games. Bye-bye.